Let me see if we're live on the YouTube. Tonight is PEP Talks. And we're live on the YouTube, so we could go live on the Facebook. Yeah. Right, so we're inside. And so to all of you who are messaging, we're live and we're alive. Yeah? I know we're a little bit early. Again, the second day in a row. I'm proud of myself. We're going. It's better to start early than late. I have to put on the phone charger. Excuse me for a minute. I forgot that. One little piece of science. Science done. Right. And we inside. Out and about. Out and bad, they say. Out and bad. Yeah. One day this show, well, I mean, one day I will have all the one day we will have all the accoutrement, all of the directors and helpers and assistants and people to make this thing happen. But right now it's me alone. It's Tuesday, 21st of November. Let me pay attention to what they're doing. Messages on hold. Tuesday, 21st of November. PEP Talks. We're still early. And they have something that I want to share because it's important that it making the rounds. And if it making the rounds, I had to share it, right? So while people gathering out and bad, shyster, I like how you say that. We out and bad man don't cater, who vex lost, and all them kind of lyrics. Fellas just talk all that, right? Stunting and bad man thing. But the ladies of the PEP, I put a post up, the women of the PEP could put any group or team to shame. Gangster, tough, brilliant, and gorgeous. Underestimate them to your peril. I see some of the ladies make some comments on that thread. Sarah Nabi say we press trigger, we don't press people button. Maybe see this girl on small. But we really have a real nice team, the PEP, and especially. Alright, again, a YouTube comment here, so I just want to make sure that that YouTube video and audio perfect. Fantastic, thank you, Graham. Functioning practically like our director of YouTube right now. Good night, Maya Khan, as I say that. It's still early. We now hit 8 o'clock, so we started off bright and early. They have something that you need to hear. But before I say that, I wonder if I should do my sharing first. I should do my sharing first, and then I should come back to this. Yeah, right. Something that I have a clock in my house, real nice clock, expensive clock, but it don't work. It stopped at 4:45 about 3 years now. About 3 years now, at that clock, fix myself. About 3 years now, that clock saying 4:45, twice a day, it correct. Twice a day, it is 4:45. And twice a day, that stopped clock correct. And even that, more reliable than anything Stuart Young say. Trust me when I tell you. You hear lie? That Chinese could lie. Stuart Young. Stuart Young. Stuarty boy. I tell my partners and them, I have some partners in the gym who does line with Stuarty boy. And they just be telling me, no man, Philip. Stuart is a man of integrity. Stuart is a man of character. Stuart is a man. No, friends. Stuart is a liar. A serial teller of untruths, a malcontent, a disparager of reality. Stuart Young is a stranger to honesty and integrity. Stuart Young has been caught lying so many times, he must have to check himself to find out where and when and even who he is most times. Mr. Dumas gave him an answer today. And you're going to hear, please remind me, if I forget, remind me to read Dumas' answer. Because Stuarty boy jump out himself and attack Dumas, who is a senior diplomat, and we will leave his resume for him. But he also attacked Robin Montano, who half-cracked. So Robin Montano is a brilliant man, limited by his own, shall we say, frolics away from reality sometimes. And I know Robin Montano going to answer Stuart Young. So I'm going to leave them to that, but I'm going to read Dumas' own, and I'm trying to find a song for you to give you while we share. We're not sharing yet because I want to read this thing to you. Okay, let's read this. Rumor has it, those of you who have not heard this as yet, you all here? Everybody here? Everybody present? Everybody showered, powdered, well put away, and settled in for the evening? Because we could pause, you know, especially those who need to go and take a shower and come back. We could pause for you because, you know, we start back at 9. Stuart Young get put in his place by Dumas. But you all read it, but I will read it too. Political humor. This is real talk. Rumor has it that in response, just now, I had to get something for you to follow that. I thank you for tolerating me. Even though I start early, I running late. What kind of man I gonna make? Was it there Tuesday, 21st November? We discussed that and everybody know that. So we good and we golden and we going forward. Right? But you have to, you had to get something else. So, right. And we good and we ready. Rumor has it that in response to the you all ready? You all ready? Yes, sir, present. And he'll say that like he good. You all know that this whole show is your calls, right? Take this number, 682-2110. YouTube people, Facebook people, listen to this, 682-2110. But if you call and you win, because I mean, you could just call. The whole show is calls after I say call. Don't start a call now. Wait till I say call. But the whole show is calls. But when I say call, you could just talk about anything you want and we will talk. When you call, you have to say where you're calling from, please, and keep it a little bit brief because other people want to call. But also, tonight, you could win a free ticket to Pep and Parang, which is our big line Saturday in Chaconia. And those who don't know about it, it's going to be lit. I will be there. You could come and buy me a drink and I will gladly accept. No joking, right? But come on, let's take a line. Let's talk. They say we don't work when we're drinking and we don't drink when we're working. But we will be doing some politicking while we're liming. Come and join with us. So, 682-2110 is going to be the number. Now, Shari Wilson. I wonder if Shari is on the thread. Shari, are you on the thread? Message me. Send me a text. Somebody send me a text. Felicia, Seranabi. Find out where Shari is, please. Because somebody have to adjudicate who wins these tickets and reach out to the person. Because, and I'll have their number as having called. So that's a kind of wonky system. But we will make it work. But this Saturday, whether you win a ticket or not, come and line with us. Chaconia, they have a couple of tickets left and I know that. Get your tickets and come and line with us. Those who are overseas and you can't come and line with us, sponsor some tickets and give it to some friends down here. It's $200 and you could come and have a time. It is a fundraiser and it's also an icebreaker. Come and line with the team, get involved. You know, we always kind of working, so this would be a good opportunity. Anyway, let me read this thing and then we will go straight into taking calls. Rumor has it that in response to the massive strides being taken by the 10-month-old Progressive Empowerment Party and the likelihood of a routing of both traditional parties at the polls, the PNM and the UNC have agreed to join forces to contest the next general election and will be rebranding as one entity, the People's United Movement, or PUM. Information coming to hand is still sketchy and unconfirmed, but it is alleged that the party symbol will be a red and yellow heliconia flower called the Rising Balize. And party slogans currently being tested include, "We PUM because we care," and "We will PUM." A joint statement is expected soon by co-leaders Keith Rowley and Kamla Prasad Bisesa, who have agreed to divide the country in half. with the PNM section of the new entity being given full autonomy to rape and plunder the east-west corridor from Chagaramas to Sangre Grande, while the UNC half pillages and marauds everything south of the Caroni. It is also assumed that both Faris Arawi and Anand Ramlogan will share Attorney General responsibilities, with Al-Rawi being responsible for lying during daylight hours and Ramlogan lying exclusively at night. The Chamber of Commerce has publicly applauded the move, as their members will no longer have to finance two separate parties in exchange for overinflated, unnecessary contracts, leaving more of the profits available for sharing with only half the kickbacks required. The MSJ and OWTU are also in support of this initiative, as it is expected to reduce marching time during negotiations for wage increases. Political analysts disagree on the timing for a PUM, with some saying it just does not smell right. Others believe that regardless, a strong PUM could leave a mark at election time. So, as we get more information, you will get it. But this song, While We Wait for Calls, is dedicated to Stuart Young, Liar-in-Chief, King Liar, Stuart Young, serial fablemonger, teller of untruths.
It was a big lying competition to see who they will crown as lying champion. Liars from all parts of the world.
While you're listening to the song, share up the video, right? Share it, share it, share it.
From a feel about 1,000 or so entry in 2 days, he boiled down and leave just 3. I had me eye on Liar the Lion, because I know he does come with some good ones. But they had a younger fella named Tibo, come from some village there in Tobago. He said his father is Tobago's best fisherman.
You get your fish a mile wide.
80 feet in span. He had to tight on the boat and swim back to land to get his brother Eric to give him a hand. You hear lie?
That is a lie.
Lie? You hear lie?
Stuart Young told the nation that Keith Christopher Mugabe Sabgarowli was invited. Look what they're doing with. Look what they're doing with. Post that. And we will wait. Facebook feed ended. I am watching the YouTube. Is the YouTube feed running still? Because we're having a problem. Should we reboot? Are we having any trouble on the YouTube feed? We got back for a minute. Graham wants to know what happened. I don't know if you're seeing me on YouTube still, and the Facebook feed was interrupted. We lost some numbers. We will start over. This is YouTube smooth. Nice, YouTube smooth. Okay, well, we're gonna to the Facebook crew. They're attacking us hard again tonight. You know that is the plan. Flo, come on, man, do your job properly. We're here and we golden. YouTube fine seeing you. Okay, so I'm sorry to the YouTube people who saw me pause, because I was paused waiting on the Facebook to reconnect, and we were sharing the video. So keep sharing the video. There will be that one momentary interruption. We are taking calls now. 682-2110. 682-2110. You could call in and you could win. Call in and win. call in and win. You could win. Some of y'all, have you heard this?
Amendments to the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Act coming to Parliament tomorrow read a lot like drive and punishment.
More than 1/3 of tickets are not being paid. The state is losing next to somewhere in the region of $40 million.
The plan is to make paying tickets more convenient. No more court, just pay at the nearest TT post, a bank, or somewhere in the future online. There are new ways to pay tickets because there are new ways to get tickets. One of the major changes will be the speed cameras and the red light camera enforcement. The trial here near Dock Road has photographed thousands of red light offenders, and there are plans to put several more around the country.
With respect to the red light enforcement cameras, we have one at the Dock Road right now, and in the first phase we'll have 15 additional locations between Trinidad and Tobago.
It's a completely automated camera on either side of the intersection, which will photograph your front and rear license plate, and you're supposed to get your ticket in the mail. Many US states have taken down red light cameras because they were simply seen as cash cows.
In the first instance, you may have an increase in violations, but when the motorists are more familiar with the devices at these specific locations, most definitely you will see a decline in violations.
A decline in violations. No, my friend, you might see a decrease, but not a decline. But I understand what you're trying to say, and we all make mistakes, so that's cool. Reality though, this government, let me turn back down my microphone for my YouTube people, so I don't bust the eardrums. Right, normal, testing, and we're back to good for the YouTube people. Right, I had to turn it up because the volume of the audio was low. Again, good at that, it's just, I only have 2 hands. This government, this People's National Movement government, seems to be only interested in picking the pockets of the people. You are introducing demerit points and significantly higher fines. But I want to tell you something. You cannot run a country where poor people can't afford to drive. You cannot run a country where poor people can't afford to have children. You can't run a country where poor people cannot afford to live. You cannot stack crime and punishment against poor people differently to how you do it to people of means. Let me put it here this way. You have to find a system that punishes everybody equitably. A man who gets a $7,000 fine driving a B30 is different to a man who gets a $7,000 fine driving a Mercedes-Benz. And to all of those people who want to tell me madness, $7,000 is $7,000, both sides, I want you to understand something. To the man driving a Mercedes-Benz, $7,000 is just above the cost of tuning up your car. To the man driving the B13, the $7,000 is probably the value of the car. The reality going forward is we have a lot of people in this country that $100 and $200 is a lot of money for. You're going to say, well, don't break the law. And I agree. Nobody should be breaking the law. But in a case where anybody is breaking the law should be equitable. I say so. I suggest this. It should be reflective of a society that wants to right-size fish and fowl, sheep and goat together. You cannot do it in such a way that some people are unduly put out. You give a man who can't afford that, you put a man in jail for no reason. You put a man in jail for no reason. That is not the way to do it. We're doing it bad. We're doing it wrong. But like everything else this government touches. You see, the reason we're rushing and we're hustling to build the Progressive Empowerment Party, people say, Philip, you don't sleep, and it feels like that sometimes. But the reason that we're hustling to build the Progressive Empowerment Party is to give the people an option to Stoopsa Boy Mitchell, Roma Girl Shamfa, Groperman Daryl Smith. We need to give the people an option against King Liar Stuart Young, Financer Fool, Colm Imbert, and Clown Prince of Lekoto, Keith Christopher Rowley. There is nothing, there is no one in the PNM of any substantive value. There is nothing that has come out of this government since election that the people could say, job well done. Nothing. Even the policies that they advocate and promote, even the ones that sound like they make sense, you know and I know those are the ones that are not going to get enforced. Those are the ones that are not going to make it to the front of the line. It's just to fool you. It's just to fool you. And that's the truth. You have a government in power that has no one in this country other than a couple racists. They have a couple people who outside there who all they are is black. That's why I bring to the table, I black deal with me so. You know what, brother? That's your thing. Everybody ought to be something. They have some Indians like that too. You hear them, I say Indian, I bring that. Fine. And if all you are is your race, your ethnicity, or your tribe, stay at the back of the room. You bring nothing to share. Because this is a multi-ethnic plural society, whether you like it or not. Whether you are racist or not. Whether you like people who look like you or not. It doesn't matter to the rest of us. To the rest of us, you are a knuckle-dragging mouth breeder who the state should sponsor to have your tubes tied and a vasectomy given free of charge, because you shouldn't be allowed to breed, or if you do accidentally, you shouldn't be raising children with that mindset. We're living in a multi-ethnic plural society. If you're missing Mother India, jump on a plane. If you're missing Father Africa, jump on a plane. If you're more Syrian than anything else in the country, rounds them up and go back Syria. And I want to tell you, when Indians see India suffering, and Africa see African poverty, and Syrian had to drop, duck, and roll for bullets in Syria, all of them coming back here to say, oh God, we was joking. We was joking. Life's sweet in Trinidad. The only thing that messes up Trinidad and Tobago is some of the jackasses among us, including the jackasses we have in government. We have 41 people in the parliament that I have said before, and I will say again, you should put all 41 of them together, take a picture, and use it as an ad for contraceptives or abortion. Because I can't think of a single person in the parliament whose life, whose presence has benefited this country. Not one. Not a single one. Nobody's track record is of value to the country. Yes, of course, there may be a couple people who could say, but I get 3 tambourine ball from Kamala and Rowley give me a drop to the market. Sure, no problem. I understand that. Faris let you park in one Alexandria place when the state was paying for it and you feel like he's your friend. Cool, no problem. But that didn't help the country as a whole. You see, when these jackasses get elected to office, it is supposed to be to run the entire country. It is supposed to be to see after the well-being of all these citizens. When Keith Christopher Mugabe Sabga Rowley stood up in the savannah, whatever week it was ago, and spoke to the PNM largesse, the PNM faithful, as if he was their new massa, that's okay. That's fine. Even to the fools sitting in the audience, thinking that they are in a country where their significant value is in excess of $1 million a year. That's what they worth. Our GDP is high. This is we are the 3rd wealthiest nation in the Western Hemisphere. But we don't want money, you know. We want leaders to fool us. We want Darumai to say, you Indian, I Indian, we Indian together. I rich, you poor, but don't study that. Black people taking that chain up in the savannah. Keith Rowley and them driving in and out in air-conditioned comfort. You walking back out of that savannah, dust blowing in your face, you're fanning flies off your children, and you're saying all of we is one. No, friend, you're not one. You're a fool. They're not fools. They're benefiting from you. They're stealing front and back pocket, and you clapping as they go. And the day that we get the people of those two parties to wake to hell up, ay, ay, ay. Imagine this country if every creed and race really did find an equal place. Imagine this country if everybody had the chance that they were entitled to. Imagine this country if all of the proceeds and profits of this country were shared equally and equitably among all the people. Imagine this country. We would be able to import housekeepers and gardeners because all Trinidadians would be wealthy. But we're not doing that. Kmart, Jmart, and Amart will come here to serve us because all Trinidadians will be wealthy. But we're not doing that. So we steal all the money from the people who live in Morva, Beatam, Labantil, Sealots, Factory Road, Kobe, Bagatelle, Lansbeaton, Scorpion, to name a few. Yes, they have some down Central and South, but I'm from Diego Martin, so I know up here. That's why I'm calling these people, because they're desperately poor and they're victims of a mercenary political system that has foisted upon them Keith Rowley, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Basdeo Pandey, Patrick Manning, Eric Williams, Arthur Napoleon, Raymond Robinson, to George Chambers, to name a few of the mocking pretenders that has held the baton of power in this country. And those people have sat in rooms with people who tell them, okay, you reach here now, we call the shot. Well, frighten them if Philip Alexander win an election, because we will empty that room. And I promise you that. You see, I don't have to take picture with Berkey Burke and Sharon and Sheldon like the rest of these jackasses, because I'm not into gangster politics. We not looking for people to come and say, look at $50, remember we when you get inside of there. We coming into power, beholding to nobody. No rogue officer going to say, Phil, remember when you and I used to move coke together? No, sir. Not this nigga. We coming into power, clean sheet, so we could clean house. And that's what Trinidad did. Trinidad is this country that meets in fancy clubs like Union Club. Union Club on top of Nicholas Tower, they look down on the peasants. I mean, this country so warped, broken, and twisted. I tell people, I sat down in Samga funeral to see if when the coffin was coming out, if it was levitating. But it wasn't. It was a normal wooden box. It may have had some fancy hardware, but it's still rotten if they ain't burn it. And I'm not saying this to hurt the people. I'm saying this to get people to understand that all of we sure, you forget everything else. You're sure of one thing. Everybody you know and everybody you love going to die. At some point, no matter the quality and the thread count of your drawers, you're going to die. And you're going to leave it all behind. Make no mistake. No matter whatever momentary advantages you might have right now, all the pieces at some point go back in the box. Game over. And if you know that, or if you could get yourself to understand that, you will start to live differently, because you will understand that the only valuable thing you have is time, stretched out and measured in moments with loved ones, and opportunities for you to maximize your truest potential. They have people who making expensive shit and piss every day, you know, caviar, steak. I hear people say they have a type of beef now that they lovingly raise the animal. The cow gets no stress at all. And apparently, that's an easier chew of the beef. No problem. But that's where we reach. A nation of people who are so deluded by grandeur and the trappings of a temporal life that we don't stop to realize that we're aging. Every organ in our body is slowly but surely shutting down. And at some point, we would have taken one last breath. And all the money in the world, as Kansas saying the song Dust in the Wind, it slips away. All your money. I'm not trying to be morbid, but I want to make a point. I want to make a point. Because if you realize for a minute, Khalil Gibran said, all that you have will one day be given. So give now while the season of giving is yours and not your inheritors. At some point, all the people that you think can't live without you will be gathered around the lawyer. So what you leave for me? And that's the truth. We shouldn't have any of our people so hungry, so desperate, so starving that they acting against us. So now, we've trapped people and conned them into believing that this is how our country is run, and it's not. You cannot have an education system where 20% of the children don't need to pass. They don't need to study. They get handpicked and moved from standard 5 to the form 1 of mommy and daddy's choice based on bribe, donation, connection. I don't want to say things like skin color and hair texture. That don't apply anymore, right? But it's not a level play field. And if you have an education system that is a lie, start there. Start right there. If you have a law enforcement system that puts little black hen chicken in jail and allows big shot children to walk free for the same crime, that is not a level play field. Start there. Because if what you want is a society that functions, let us start to treat each other, all of us, the same. Let us raise the people. Bob Marley tell you that when you're on top, look down, lift up. When you have power, it is to protect the weak. Every time I see a picture of a hunter, I think that there goes an ego on legs. If I ever want to be a hunter, I want a knife and let me go into the jungle. And who win. But to stand up 100 feet from an animal and shoot it with a bullet, that is not hunting. That is slaughter. That is not hunting. And hunters make the point. We continue to live this life misguided by the purpose of life. We don't understand that if we have power, the only purpose of power is to help the weak, not to advantage them. If we have more, we're supposed to help those who have less. That is the only purpose of more, not to eat more. There's a saying, when you have more than you need, or build a higher wall, build a longer table. When do we get there? Trinidad and Tobago could be the example to the world, you know. Trinidad and Tobago, every other nation in the world, the United Nations should meet and say, today, how do we all get closer to living like the people of Trinidad and Tobago? How much, what do we have to do today to become more like those two islands, where every creed and race has found a way to share the bounty and benefits of their combined existence? Imagine that. Imagine making the national anthem true. Imagine us having respect for each other. You see, we don't share. We've created a slave culture without saying it. But between the banks and big business, and a corrupt government model that requires the majority of our children to come out of school undereducated with very little hope or opportunity, so they end up in Subway cashing and making sandwich. Now, it's easy to blame the people and tell them they should have studied. But the people who's be saying that as want to expose them, I went to school with some of you. You didn't study either. You didn't study either. Yeah, he play and you play, but you play and you had somewhere to go after. If he had somewhere to go after, he wouldn't be making sandwich in Subway. And if you didn't, you would. My father taught me something early. Never judge anybody for their condition. Know in your mind, there go I, but for the grace of God. Life is a crapshoot sometimes, you know. It's pure chance. I was driving in Barataria, October 10th, 2008. And a truck flew out of a minor road without touching his brakes and slammed into my left back door. That means I had already pretty much passed the street when he hit me. Full speed. I was driving a Prado, destroyed the vehicle, crushed my arm. I had to be rushed to hospital. 1 second before that accident, I was laughing and joking in the car. Life is a crapshoot from that moment. And I said it. Every important appointment that I had the next day forward was cancelled. Every day. I became unimportant to anything. I was now a patient. And I was happy that I wasn't dead. And for 6 months, I had to deal with the issue, and 6 more months of therapy, and my life revolved for a whole year, and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and plenty inconvenience and frustration and pain over 1 second. 1 second. Life is like that for all of us. My neighbor, we share a wall. A couple years ago, my neighbor, young, vibrant guy, have a big store in Westmore, happy man. He tell me, I go in Miami in the morning. When I come back, we have some things to talk about. We lime in, we organizing. We used to like a shit talk in the night, me and he. And 2 days into his trip, he get a diagnosis. Stage 4. Stage 4. He never returned to Trinidad. Days later, all his organs were gone. His sister told me stories. She would call me from his bedside and tell me what he's going through. And I'm thinking of this young, vibrant, happy man that I just saw running and jumping and having a good time days before. And we are all that diagnosis, that accident, that freak of a moment away from. That's all, folks. If your life was to end now, would you be happy with what you did with it? And again, I didn't start off to be morbid. But the point I'm trying to make is nobody could legislate us to be decent. We either decide or we don't. And as the man in the mirror, as Michael Jackson said, as the man in the mirror, that's who I have to deal with every single day. And I could lie to myself for as long as I want. At some point, my reality will affect my reflection, whether I like it or not. Whether I like it or not. We all have tonight the opportunity to decide the quality of our lives. And to the people who catching their ass, I want to tell you all something too. A lot of you all catching your ass because you're making bad choices. A lot of you all trying to live rich and spending money you don't have to fool people who don't care about you. Stop that foolishness now. Live within your means. If you are aspiring to more, aspire to improve. And improve for people around you. Improve your family. But don't spend money to stunt. Don't go in courts and fens and standards and buying, that stove have 9 burner, taking that. Why? And you're paying credit for the rest. Why? Our carnival, they have a whole finance company called Island Finance. Their whole business is carnival. You know. Stupid people go and buy a carnival costume on hire purchase for a 2-day romp and pay for it for the rest of the year. You know. Carnival start off with mud and pan and something to beat and a whistle to blow. This fancy $10,000 carnival is not more fun than that carnival, you know. I mean, you could chuck and jam. Okay, we chuck and jam. And I see them Ash Wednesday morning. Oh God, I'm missing it already. If your life is so piss poor and your value so vacuous and empty that sexual gyration to loud music defines you, you made some poor choices somewhere along the way, you know. I'm not saying carnival shouldn't be enjoyed. I'm saying everything in moderation, everything in balance, everything to make sense. Get drunk. When you wake up, be sober. Owe nobody for the frolic. True talk. I have a friend, she told me she thought she was having a nervous breakdown till she went to the psychologist and she got a bill. She said that bill cured me instantly. And it makes sense. I mean, it was a joke. And I'm not belittling. Trust me, in this country, mental health is something that we need to discuss seriously one of these good days. And we are in the Progressive Empowerment Party, as part of the Advisory Council, we are putting together a team of people to address mental health because there are things going on in this country and there's a side path, but I want to say it one time as I hear, because we are the party that discussing decriminalizing marijuana, but don't think it means free sheet and light up on every corner. Because there are some things that we have to discuss as a sensible people. There is something called drug-induced psychosis. People do not get to talk about, and I do not know why. But drugs like marijuana, and not just marijuana, in fact, any drug that could act on your mind, if you are predisposed, and the way they say if you're predisposed, it sounds like a minuscule amount. It's not. It's a lot of people. If you're predisposed to psychosis, you could end up with schizophrenia or worse for the rest of your life. And we also need to pay attention to those things. We need to be responsible. And I want us to get to there. I want us to stop burning down the country to party in the ashes. I want us to start thinking and living like people who have a vision for their own lives and for their country and for their children. I want to be able to say that by my existence, I made the world a little bit better. That's what I want, you know. I want to make sure that my family taken care of to the best of my ability, and that my friends, there was value to my friendship. I think that we all, it's nice to stunt. I know, I've been down that road. People just blow real smoke up your ass when they feel you're on top and you can help them, you know. But when you see, and Stuart Young, he's going to learn this more than anybody else. Stuart Young, going to learn this. They ever say, the toes you're stepping on today, make sure they're not connected to the ass you have to kiss tomorrow. I read somewhere a fella wrote, he said, the guy who pulled into the parking spot before me, who flipped me a middle finger when I told him I was waiting, he just arrived in my office for a job interview with me. True karma sometimes, you know. You can call now, 682-2110. We're taking calls. Call in, call now. You can win a ticket-free complimentary to PEP and Parang. Not that you should need to pay the money, the party need the money. We're not one of those deep pocket parties. 682-2110. Give us a call, get involved, add your voice to the conversation, add your piece. Hey, you know what? I am the sum total of my life's experiences, like you. I am the best version of myself that I could be, and I know my shortcomings. I know them. I don't try to pretend to be anything other than who I am. We could teach ourselves anything, you know. We could teach ourselves, you could learn a foreign language and spend the rest of your life speaking in a different language. We could teach ourselves to be anything we want. Hello, good evening, you're live.
Yes, well, I called the radio station. The night all peppers. I called the radio station this morning talking about you. And the guy said, oh, this and that, and he's this and he's that. I said, but isn't that what the man is talking about? It's the things he's saying. There's Model 6. And they making excuses for shit, that and this and that. I say, oh gosh, come on. This man is not only him in the party. There are other people. And they have ideas. There's agriculture, there's this, there's that. And why their minds so closed. It's like they're working for the UNC. You know what I mean?
A lot of these media houses are actually on the payroll. I'm going to tell you something. I did communications with the UNC under Jerry Hadid for a little while there. And I want to tell you something. And he and them and all of them is a negotiation. I was the person who moved Samantha John from TV6 to CNMG while TV6 was poaching Desha Rambachan. And they thought that they was fooling CNMG. And it's games right through and money thing right through. So trust me when I tell you, nothing. PEP Media, we're launching PEP Radio soon. You'll have opportunities morning and evening time to listen to much better conversation, open to the public, equal time. Because what's going on right now is a concerted effort to silence the Progressive Empowerment Party and to convince people that they have no options. But that, like everything else, what they say, night can only run till day catch it, yes?
Yeah, working on you guys in the PEP Talks here.
Thank you, my friend. Thanks a lot for calling.
Okay.
Have a good day. That's the truth. Fight it down, fight it up, fight it. Fight it, we fight it. At the end of the day, I tell people this all the time. Party's 10 months old. If this party meant to be, you could cry blood. Nothing stopping it. And if it's not meant to be, they have nothing I could do to make it happen. So I accept that. And I am comfortable there. And we're moving forward, working, going forward. The best of our ability, giving the best effort that we could to build this party. And if this is supposed to be the change that the country needs, it'll happen. But it's up to the people. It's up to the people. It is up to the people come election time. Nikki Lee says she's certified in radio joke. Come true, you're hired. We want that. We want anybody who are involved in any kind of media, any kind of journalism. You want to be a radio broadcaster. PEP Media is doing an online TV station. We're working on that right now. Every Thursday night we have a show called Frontline at 8 o'clock. This show that I do is going to be part of PEP Media soon. But PEP Radio is going to be an app in your phone. So you could, wherever you are, tune in. When you're driving to work and you're driving to school and you're driving home, tune it in right there, live and direct. Good, sensible talk, nothing controlled anymore. While those empires of corruption collapse, the Progressive Empowerment Party is rising like a phoenix. 10 months old. 10 months old, not one recycled politician. 10 months old, not one SABGA, not one SISO, not one Calco, not one Galbaran Singh, not one Kwaitam, not one of those finance for contract men. Not one. Not one. Party doing this on the party power. Just read Lorena make a comment there. Lorena's make cupcakes and come and sell on a weekend. Somebody just messaged me about that caller to say that caller was on the radio defending me this morning. Thank you very much to you and to the caller. That means people hear it and they know. I got a call from Scotland this morning. While Vasant Bharat was lying on Synergy TV, Vasant Bharat went on Synergy. Now, it's time to forget about Bharat because his political career is over. Yes, he will stunt himself some more money until he live out the rest of his days. That is not my problem. As long as he's not involved in politics and fooling the people, like cool. But Vasant Bharat was on Synergy TV this morning, lying to Stefan and the crew, using PEP policies, advocating those policies as if they were his own. But we've caught that entire crew, especially that bunch. Especially that bunch. Thieving ideas and passing it off as their own. Under no circumstances. Under no circumstances. You're going to resurrect Jerlene John? Bring Jerlene John back? This is a country where Pizza Boys and Jerlene John should have had to answer for Jerlene John's stint in Piarco Airport when Ish was there. And how Pizza Boys get the best locations in the airport. And when UNC lost, she ended up as CEO of Pizza Boys Group. It's like the same stunt Roger Ganesh, director of highways, UNC again, and his son-in-law, Kalu, Dino Kalu, and Calco, and all that contracts that they get, when the mark bust and he stepped down from director of highways, he is CEO of the same Calco. I hear people was writing in on Synergy TV this morning saying, brother, you never, all the time you are wrong, you never advocate for one of those policies. All of a sudden you know it. How you know it? Where you get those ideas from? But you know what? We tell them steal the ideas. I guess they took us seriously. Yeah? What are you going to do? Truth is, true talk. And we, as a people, have to understand that we have to take responsibility for our politics. I had to tell somebody today at lunchtime today, I am going to be, I know I look younger, I'm going to be 51 in January. This is not what I want to be doing with my life. You could give me options and none of them include going in that parliament to argue with those jackasses. I am telling you, if you ever go and sit in the visitor gallery of the parliament and watch what takes place in that parliament, there is nothing to say, wow, I can't wait to be counted among these ranks. That's like, this is pure sacrifice. Pure sacrifice. And everybody in the PEP. There is not one person in this party that has come out of politics. There's not one person that is building this party that used to be a part of the PNM or the UNC at the highest level that come to find a next way to get inside. If anybody want to thief, the fastest, best political avenue to thief, PNM UNC. You must thief. The same contractors and financiers making money with the UNC, making money with the PNM. Them is thief parties. What we doing here? This is climbing a mountain, cliff face first. This is the hardest route. So if you think that this is what we're trying to do, or that we're trying to get blue lights for ourselves, think again. This is going to be the party that's going to outlaw blue lights. This is going to be the party that is going to make the Minister of Works and Transport sit his ass in traffic so that he will get to the cabinet and say, guess why I late? Because I failed. We are organizing a program right now to give the people the PEP's policies on traffic while they're in traffic, so that they understand it right there. Because you know, sometimes they say out of sight, out of mind. So while you're sitting in traffic, yes, somebody just reminded me about Dumas. Dumas wrote a response, and it was published today in the Newsday. And I want to share that because Stuart Young was deserving. He was taken behind the woodshed and had his ass cut. Former head of the public service, Reginald Dumas, yesterday expressed surprise at the remarkable position taken by Minister in the office of the Prime Minister, Stuart Young, in relation to the latter's utterances last Thursday at the post-cabinet press conference. Young, in clarifying that Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley was not disinvited from a high-level meeting of 10 world leaders with Chinese President Xi Jinping, slammed what he termed as uninformed and self-important commentators who claimed Rowley was disinvited. While Young did not name Dumas during his verbal assault at the post-cabinet press conference, his reference to a former head of the public service and advice to that former head to stay quiet on things he did not know about was enough to warrant Dumas to issue a press release. I have seen and read media reports, Dumas said, of remarks made about me by Minister Young. While not having any intention to descend into a tit-for-tat exchange, Dumas said he wanted to make a few comments on Young's remarks. First, addressing me directly, he, Young, said if I didn't know, in other words, have all the facts about something, I should not comment. Whether this was meant to be a piece of advice or an instruction or a veiled threat warning, I cannot say. But I have taken note of it. Whichever it might have been, it was, to my mind, a remarkable position for anyone to advocate in a society said to be democratic and whose constitution guarantees citizens freedom of thought and expression, Dumas said. In addition, Dumas continued, Young is a minister in the office of the Attorney General, whose website says, well, I don't know if that part is true because earlier they said it's the office of the Prime Minister. I don't even know. They just want to give Stuart Young a salary. I think his father gave a big donation, and that's how we end up in the party. In addition, Dumas continued, Young is a minister in the office of the Attorney General, whose website says that one of his two functions is guardian of the public interest. How do his remarks guard that interest? Dumas asked. Further, I have worked too long and too hard for Trinidad and Tobago, starting before Mr. Young's birth, I imagine, to allow myself subject to law to be silenced by Mr. Young or anyone on any matter concerning this country. Second, I assume I do not know that given the principle of collective cabinet responsibility, Mr. Young's words about me represent the position of the cabinet. Dumas then said it would be helpful. This is the cutters that Stuart Young deserved. This is the cutters that little jumped up boy, Stuart Young, with his little $5 law degree, deserved. Because I know he's driving all Mercedes-Benz and date all thing from Ernst & Young and raising his stepchildren, and I was telling him this. And I know he feels he's a Mr. Man now because he getting to drive around in a fancy car. because he get big money to write letters, because he get himself in the right fortunate positions in this banana republic where money could fall on you if you line yourself up right. But he's not a brilliant attorney. He is at best anyway. This is the cuttass he deserved. Dumas then said it would be helpful if Young published or caused to be published. And you see, this is the call out. He has called him out. A full and factual account of the Trinidad and Tobago China issue that has been the subject of such interest recently. At the post-cabinet press conference, Young also slammed former PNM Trade Minister Mariano Brown's remarks on social media, saying he is insignificant and won't change the nature, structure, and importance of TNT's relationship with the People's Republic of China. Now you tell me, anybody with a half a sense, I mean Mariano Brown is not a fly-by-night lawyer, find himself in a daddy-sponsored chambers and get himself on some partner position, commission of inquiry, so you could sit down there and stunt. I watch these boys. I watch Clyde Phelps' son, Justin Phelps. I watch these fellas posing, pontificating, posturing and stunting as if there's something. Like if a law degree and a well-positioned leg up in society somehow makes you better than you are. These guys, and Stuart Young needed this. Reginald Dumas slap him up verbally. And Stuart have to take that. Because now, again, he's being exposed again, lying again. How could you hire a lawyer after Stuart Young finds himself outside of politics? Who in their right, although some say the closest word in the English language to lawyer is liar, but who would be hiring Stuart Young? Who? Plain talking bad manners. Who would be hiring him? But look at what is going on all around us. Everything is falling apart. From the Prime Minister come down, from the Chief Justice come down, from the President's office come down, the police service, the health sector, education, the entire thing. The farce is collapsing. They've built it on bullshit, and bullshit melts in hot sun. Everything that was a joke in this country, an opportunity for people to put themselves higher than everybody else and get rich, all of it collapsing. All of it. Look at it. Nothing. Nothing is working. Nothing is working. You cannot tell yourself enough lies to justify the PNM, the UNC, and our 55 years of independence. There's nothing you could say. There is nothing. It is shameful and shameless at the same time to be a member of either of those parties. You must be coming to your senses now. The treasury is empty. Patrick Manning and Kamala thief everything. There's not those two parties, the PNM and the UNC, they thief everything. There is nothing left. And this jackass brigade, this version of the PNM, putting us in debt. You and me. When Rowley fly out for his cancer to finish, eat his ass out in, where does they say he buy the hospital for his sister? Wherever he go, and I'm telling you plain, to golf the rest of his days away with his 77 illegitimate children. Is you to catch. Is your children and your grandchildren to suck salt in this country where not even a single freaking road is paved properly. Not one. Not one. Look at what is going on. Look around you. Everything broken, smashed. This is not a country that you could be proud of. Nobody in their right mind could defend what takes place in Trinidad and Tobago. And I know that a critical mass of people are standing on the sidelines right now, wanting to move. We will give you reason to move. We will give you options. We will show you the way back from the precipice that we've been led to, and we're poised on the edge, about to collapse, about to crash, about to sink, about to burn down. We are heading there. We are almost there. It is almost over. We cannot continue. By the time this band of misfits finish with this country, There will be nothing left of value to salvage. We'll be debt-riddled and have nowhere to go. There will be nobody in this world that would have reason to have to deal with you and your children. Where are we going from there, Trinidad?
Your vote will decide our destiny. Your vote will decide what you want to be. Your vote can foretell our country's fate. But use it well
Before it's too late.
if it is that who you're voting will be on account. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the prove it to be your people amount. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the time is now that change should come about.
Just as how you vote them in,
Vote them out.
register and
If you can see, stain your finger and show them no mercy. Put them out with total skull and utter disdain. Let's put our country together again. Put them out of power, dominate their reign. Let's put our country together again.
the game is thief money and fool you at election time so you can thief more money. That's the game. All of the thief money is to invest in you, to fool you, to give you a jersey, a sandwich, a juice, maybe a free iPhone or more. I understand they went to Tobago with 2 containers full of electronics and give it away. Tobago children still playing with it, but the UNC and the TOP lost everything. The PNM is nobody's friend in Tobago. The people of Tobago have been hung out to dry. There is nothing to rescue them. They've been put into penury and slavery. People have lost their properties with nowhere to turn, nobody to complain to. The same media that you think you can pick up the phone and call and report what's going on, that media ain't taking the call. They take the call, they're not running the story. Because Rowley and Kamla and whoever controlling the purse strings, controlling the journalists. The truth of the matter is the people have been isolated and left on their own. The only shot, the only chance, the only respite and rescue this country has is being built every Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue. The Progressive Empowerment Party. Outside of this, there is nothing. Outside of this, the games can continue. The country will continue to run. Momentum carries a vehicle after a crash, you know. That's the truth. You have one shot this election, whenever it is called. That's it. That is it, you know. Because if we don't win, it's over. And I'm not saying that in an arrogant way. I'm saying that you have one shot, one group, one party to take on that entire power structure that has made your life and that of your family, your loved ones, your children, a living hell. The people that stole all of this country's money, living well, living large, traveling the world, stunting on you and your family and your children, and posting big fancy pictures on Instagram. What we're eating for breakfast. Proceeds of crime. But there is nothing, there is no reason for any government who are part, co-conspirators in the criminal activity to get involved and fix it. There is nothing to force keep Christopher Mugabe Sabgarowli to build the maritime security wall and stop the flow of narcotics. There's nothing to force him. You and I, if we sit down and we wait and we play politics games and put God out of our thoughts and be itty, mini, miny, mo with banded red and banded yellow, we look for what we get. The Progressive Empowerment Party is here. It is yours and it is your opportunity. Don't waste it. Come and get involved. Come and help build it. Come and add your voice to what it is. Because mark this, you know, the vast majority of the people of Trinidad and Tobago are good, honest, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens. But they too are also co-conspirators every time you vote. I have apologized for helping either of those parties. And I know my intentions were honorable, you know, because they've never been able to say, look, Philip had a contract. For all the high-level access I've ever had, I never take a HTC house. I never take a shortcut. I never take nothing. I gave. They owe me. In fact, both of those governments, both of those parties owe me. And I'm cool with that. Leave it just so. When people drive home every single day, they go Martin. They go Martin Central, they go Martin Northeast, they go Martin West. When the people of Westmoreland don't have to wait a half hour to come out of Westmoreland on evenings because they don't have a million cars wrong there roundabout trying to go through behind St. Finbar's Church, I fix that. It's I designed that bypass by 4 roads. You could ask people, I used to stand up on afternoons. It is I that brought traffic wardens to direct traffic while the construction was going on to get it to this. But some people, we have short memories, but there was a time when for all families, including me, to get home at the end of the day, traffic started at Movie Town and tried to filter past 4 roads. And when it was solved, now 15 minutes you're home. They have no traffic. I want to tell you something. That, the Children's Authority, we marched justice for children. And panicked Glenn Ramadan Singh when he was that Minister of Stunts and Silly Walks, Minister of the People. We put 25,000 people on the road. They went and bring that act and make it law. The Dangerous Dog Act, it is not the best law, but you see all of a sudden, dogs stop killing people. Because all them people that was breeding bad dog to sell. And you used to read in the papers, you used to read it on social media. They were actually claiming kills, sired by so-and-so who was responsible for so-and-so many kills. The country was going mad. We need to pull it back. I tell you something, every chance I got into helping the UNC, going to meet with Gary Griffith, and we have it because we have the whole team and we have the pictures. We were promoting something called literacy first. Our documentation found its way to Alta. I see Alta using our same information in the ads. I don't mind. But literacy first was going to help solve a lot of problems in this country. Because if you teach people how to read, you open the world to them. Too many of our people are illiterate. Too many of our people cannot read and they can't find their way. They can't go and fill out an application form in a job, for a job. They're stuck. And you can do them what they want. And that's what's being done. We need a massive cleanup and a rescue from the ground up. What they say, a rising tide lifts all boats. If we raise the lowest classes of society and get them up and functional, the money they're spending in masses will build a middle class that will shock you. Right now what we have is a growing wealthy class and everybody else suffering. That have to change. You have the power to change that. But that power is slipping through your hands like sand. There is nothing else. Listen to all of them. Listen to them. Go and find them. Listen to every one of those other parties. Go and hear what they're for, what they're about, what they're trying to accomplish, and you'll see for yourself. Not one of the other political parties, including Red and Ready and Yellow and Steady, not one of them is people-centered and country first. All of them for themselves. All of them are contracts and contractor-based. All of them are fancy projects and big money parties. You need to vote into government, a political organization dedicated to 5 principles. Affordable food, security of the people, home ownership for all, healthcare that works, and education that delivers. You see those 5 things? Those 5 things, any government that could deliver those 5 things transforms life in Trinidad and Tobago because everybody then gets a chance. And that's where the game starts. There are too many people who not even in the game. You can't afford to eat. You can't afford to get sick. You can't afford somebody to rob you. You can't afford an accident. You will never own a home. Oh gosh, man. This cannot continue. Tell yourself, election come in, red crapple, yellow crapple, same handful of salt. You see the rest of them alphabets, them fake parties, forget them, put them out your mind. The election must come down to the Progressive Empowerment Party and the stunters and make sure and send a message to the stunters. I promise you something. Within the first day that Parliament is convened under a Progressive Empowerment Party government, you will have, as a citizen, the right of recall. The next day, you could fire us as a government. That's what you need. No more stunters for life. This country needs a rescue. This, what we're doing, is a rescue mission. If you're strong, come help us pull up the weak. People suffering in this country. And it cannot continue. And you see those of you who thinking the only option is shut down, sell out, and run. Come on. Let's rescue our country. This is the best nation in the world. This is the best nation on planet Earth. There is nothing better. We can go to other countries that work better, but this country, this is the best country in the world. And if we fix it and make it functional, this will be Eden. Paradise, utopia. Those who not from here will lie and say they come from here. Jamaicans and Bajans will practice a Trini accent. It is time to build back this country and bring all our people home. We have that as a responsibility to rescue this nation. And you must set off every day to tell people, listen, miss me with your defensive, racist, corruption bullshit. I have no time for that. Because unless you can defend the 55 years of theft, tell me nothing else. Tell me nothing else. Until you could see Keith Rowley go walk in Morva, Beetham, Lavantin and Sealots and explain to those people the PNM legacy. I want to see Keith Rowley sitting down on a rattan chair in Factory Road up by Diamond Vale. I want to see him in Bagatelle. Until you could start to put real representation in the parliament, miss me with your bullshit. And I'm telling you that plain as day. The country needs people to stand up now. And you don't need little jokey politicians coming to dress up and impress you. You need people who have plans, programs, ideas, policies, and you could test it. Come every Saturday. This Saturday at noon, even though we're having a party in the evening in Shakonia, in PEP and Parang, we in the office at noon. That members meeting every Saturday is on for sure. The following Saturday, we're trying our first one in Chaguanas. Come and be a part of this. Come and add your voice to this. The country you want is on the other side of this effort, and I would like to see all of you there. And I'm asking you, make me a promise. Bring your entire family. Change your plans for this Saturday. Come Stanmore Avenue at noon and make a statement. Yes? So until I'm going to try to do a video tomorrow. And so until then, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.